Welcome everybody to Scott Cooks. Tonight we'll be making one pot black-eyed peas and pork chops in our new Ninja Foodi with the smart lid. We're going to cook them on something called steam and crisp at the same time in the same pot. This is going to be great. Stand by. Let's start by putting 2 cups of room temperature water in the Foodi. Now tonight I'll be using frozen black-eyed peas. You could use fresh as well. It'll work just as well. Add about a cup. This is half a cup measuring. So don't have to get it perfect. And we're just cooking for 2 of us tonight, so that's plenty. You can just double the recipe up if you got more to cook for. This is totally optional, but I've got a white onion here. I'm going to cut it up and chop it kind of fine. Throw it right in with the peas. That's plenty right in the pot. Add your favorite seasoning. I'm going to use this tonight because it's what I have handy. And it adds a ton of flavor. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of just margarine, just like this. You can also add a stick butter if you got it, but this is good enough. And this is just to keep the, well, does 2 things. It adds flavor, obviously, and it also keeps the foam from spurting out as we're making steam. So a little bit of fat content here helps hold it down. Now this is the double reversible rack, so I just took the top part of it off. There it is. Just took the second part. Usually it would sit like that with the other piece on top, so I took that off. Now I'm going to roll it and flip it, and that's going to go into the pot. This is a 1-pot meal. Make sure that's settled down in there properly. I got a couple bone-in pork chops here. Situate those on the rack. So, add a little more of the seasoning to them. And with the new Ninja Foodi 8-quart with the smart lid, it's as simple as that, guys. We're going to cook our peas and our pork chops at the same time. Because we're not using the basket, I may have to come in here and flip the chops. In the basket, I wouldn't have to do that. But for steam and crisp, sometimes you don't have to, sometimes you do. We'll just give it a check. Power on. The new smart lid has 3 functions, 3 positions, I meant to say, as a slider. Far left is pressure. Center is steam and crisp, steam and bake. Far right is basically everything else. We're going to put it on the center position, which is steam and crisp. 390 is good. 20 is a little too much. We're going to do 10 minutes. These are very thin pork chops. Let's go ahead and start it up. And it's as easy as that, guys. It's going to be about an 8-minute preheat as it boils that water and creates the steam. Then after a little while, the air crisp will turn on and start working on those chops. So the pork chop, this is an interesting procedure because the pork chops are actually going to get cooked some from the steam and the heat, and then they'll get finished off with the air fryer from the top. That's why we probably will have to flip them. I did want to show you one thing real quick here. Normally, we would be concerned about this valve right here. When we're using steam and crisp, it doesn't really matter what position that valve's in because we don't use it. When we're steam and crisping, all of our steam is going to be released through this vent in the back, and it does create quite a bit of moisture inside. So make sure your cup here is completely empty and in position and locked, because when you open the lid after a steam, all the water is by design is going to run down, follow this trough, and go right down into this cup. So if this is out, you're going to get a big pile of water on your table and make a big mess. Preheat is done. We are steaming and crisping. and smelling good in here. Guys, we are steaming away. And we're gonna do our 5-minute flip. Open the lid slowly to let that water, that moisture run. And we're gonna go ahead and flip these over. Get a little seasoning on the back side of them. And do a quick temperature check. They're pretty close. Need to get them a little crispy though. And just like the other Foodies, when you close the lid, it just continues back where you left off. It's 5 minutes left on the timer. The the pork chops are getting close to temperature. All I'm looking for is a little crisp on them now. We may not go the full 5 minutes, we'll see. All right, we went about 2 more minutes. I got 2 minutes left on the timer, so about 8 minutes total. And that is just the right amount of crispy. And I'm sure my black-eyed peas are done as well. So let's go ahead and plate this up. Let's cut into that chop, see how we're doing. Oh, very tender. Very tender. A little bit of fat out here on the end. I like to cook it with the fat on. I don't usually eat the fat, but it gives a lot of flavor. I think that's cooked just perfect. Only thing left to do is to give it a try. Let's start with that piece of pork chop. Check that out again. Perfectly cooked. Beautiful. Very tender. Now this is a thin chop. If you want to do like a one incher, you're definitely going to want to add some time to it. Let's try those black-eyed peas. One of my favorite things is black-eyed peas. I used to grow them in my garden. Don't do it anymore. I don't have a garden. Look at that. Very good. I love that flavor. I want to thank everybody for watching. The Ninja Foodi 8-quart smart lid is amazing. Can do lots of one-pot meals in it. They're steaming crisp. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing some steam and bake. That's going to be pretty cool because that's going to activate the lower elements and the top and the steam all at the same time. It's going to be crazy. Leave me some comments. Click the bell for notifications. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you soon.